Early in my marriage, I started to realize that I was sick more than I was well. I had migraines, slow recovery, or other illnesses after surgery, giving birth, and just feeling like things weren't well, that I wasn't well, that I had trouble staying well. Before marriage, I was a very healthy person, hardly needing medical attention or medications. I was athletic and worked out and was on sports teams, adult recreation teams, and just kept busy as a person, as a human being, and didn't have any trouble doing that. But my stressful, dysfunctional marriage took a toll on my body. How to survive divorce when dealing with chronic illness is what we're talking about today. Hi, I'm Jen Grice, author of the book You Can Survive Divorce. I am a divorce mentor and empowerment coach, guiding women to surviving and thriving after divorce. You can find out more about my ministry, coaching, and my book at jengrice.com. While married, I had a homeschool blog. I stayed home, worked from home, and homeschooled my children. After hearing from many mothers also dealing with chronic condition while married and homeschooling, I decided to share my experience and blog about it. Then in 2014, after my divorce and after some time of healing, I shared my divorce with my readers on this homeschool blog. And I heard again from tons of stay-at-home and or homeschooling moms who were going through or had recently went through a divorce, and mainly from a toxic marriage that caused them to be sick. A lot of women experiencing exactly what I was experiencing. That's when I knew this ministry for Christian women facing divorce, usually unwanted, needed to be started. I no longer felt alone, and I wanted all these ladies to know that they weren't alone either. About a year ago or so, I wrote an article on my blog, which I'll link in the description below, about the connection between abuse, even just emotional or psychological abuse, and chronic illness during marriage or after. Many women face cancer, migraines, and autoimmune disorders because of the stressful home life they've lived in. Be sure to read that article if you're wondering how you developed medical issues after being healthy most of your life, and especially if you're now divorced. So back to surviving my medical issues during and after divorce. I have a brain herniation, which causes migraines, and I have systemic lupus erythematosus. Hopefully I said it right, or lupus for short. I had to learn to deal with this while receiving no empathy while married and single parenting after divorce. So how have I survived and most of the time even thrived after divorce? Here are my tips. The things I do to keep myself as healthy as possible while still raising children after divorce. Number one, I take care of myself both physically and emotionally, and this is important. Stress is one of the biggest triggers for migraines and chronic pain flares. When you're able to keep your home and life as stress-free as possible, you'll feel better and be healthier too. Also found yoga and meditation to be helpful to just alleviate stress or at least calm things down. Also, I see my doctor regularly, especially my rheumatologist for my lupus, and I take my medications as prescribed. I try to do my best to alleviate any problems caused by my lupus or the brain herniation, and I obviously don't want to have migraines, so I do what I can to eat healthy and exercise or do whatever it takes to keep from continuing to be unhealthy, unwell, and have chronic pain. Another important thing, and this is, I know, obvious, but frequent hand washing or disinfecting the home to keep away germs. For me, it's a low immune system, and so anytime that I can just wash my hands and keep germs away helps to stay healthy. Lastly, seek medical attention as soon as a problem seems to come up. Just recently, I took myself to the emergency room after being physically sick from a stomach bug for over 48 hours. I probably could have waited longer and suffered, but I didn't want to take a chance on my own health, end up having to take the ambulance to get there when things got out of hand. So the emergency room hooked me up to an IV, gave me some anti-nausea medications and some other things to help me feel better and to get better, and helped me fight the stomach bug without having to worry too much about how much I was keeping down. They let me go after the IV, and I actually was feeling a little better. Not healed, but at least well enough to continue to be sick and get well and fight it on my own. At first, I felt bad for going to the emergency room, but I'm so glad I did. I was able to stay physically well, and no one had to take care of me. I did have some help from my teenager, but at least I wasn't to the point where I needed serious help. And there was not an emergency in the situation. It was just taken care of appropriately. So next, number 2, learn everything you can about your illness or whatever it is you're dealing with, whether it's just migraines or worse, cancer, and how you can live your best life and survive and get healthy from this condition. For me, I've learned that taking magnesium every single day helps to keep my migraines at bay, because magnesium helps to keep swelling down, and because I have swelling in my brain because of the herniation, I actually have less migraines. So learn all the things, whether it's medications or over the counter or diet or whatever it is that will help you stay healthy so that you're not more sick than you need to be. You can also find a support group to connect with others, to get ideas or seek help for how to make it through the difficult times. And don't be afraid to ask for help. So number 3 is share with your family and friends how they can help you and how they can serve you. And if they really do care and have empathy for you, they will provide these things for you. Another thing, it teaches your children to have compassion through helping you with this illness. I can imagine, my youngest child, if he didn't experience some of my illness, he may grow up to not know what it's like to help take care of somebody who's sick or to be empathetic at all to somebody else's illness. And that's something he's learning by, even this last experience when I was very sick, in a bucket for 48 hours. And he had to learn that, you have to help your mom. You have to check on your mom. You have to make sure that people are okay and ask them what they need and get those things for them so they can't get them for themselves. Obviously, it wasn't to the extreme where he had to totally take care of me, but he still learned something from the experience. And I think it's good to teach children that, because a lot of people are growing up without that experience of really caring for others and caring for people who need help. And that's an important quality to learn, because this is something I wish I would have done more with my children, my older children, when they were younger, and my son when he was younger. Because while married, my children were told that I was mental because I had a physical condition or migraines. They were told to leave me alone and, just kind of ignore me. That was kind of the mindset, that it was, just leave her alone and she'll get better on her own. They didn't see empathy exhibited in our home unless it was me taking care of everybody else. And then it was kind of expected, well, that's mom's job. That's not everybody else's job to show empathy and concern for somebody when they're sick. And even after my divorce, I tried to shield my physical limitations at first from the children, feeling that I was a burden or I was going to be a burden to them. Now I see the importance of teaching children how to care for others, especially their own family members, like I talked about. So, how are you surviving with chronic illness after divorce? Are you getting all the care that you need? So I hope I empowered you in some way today, reminded you of something that you should be doing or could be doing, and hopefully I've given you the knowledge that you can survive this as well. I'm doing it and so many others are. If you have any questions or would like to share your story, please do that in the comments below. Please check out my other videos about surviving divorce, and I hope to see you in the next video. God bless.